Welcome to the France 24 Observers. This show is based on our network of observers. They're ordinary people who tell us what's going on where they are and send in photos and videos to document it. We check everything here in Paris and bring the best to you. Our first observer today is an IT maintenance technician who lives in a slum in Sao Paulo, Brazil, a very flammable slum. José Cicero de Lima was at his home in the Sonia Ribeiro favela when a fire broke out in the neighborhood. It ended up destroying 2/3 of the favela. Now, no one was killed, but more than 1,000 people were left without homes. It was the 5th such fire in the last 10 years.
I opened the door and I saw a thick cloud of black smoke coming from the favela. I watched for 5 minutes and then I knew it was spreading. When the firefighters arrived, I put down my camera and started helping them. Everyone fought the fire together. It's hard to say where it came from one of the homes or maybe from a rubbish heap. No one wants to admit messing up and being responsible for the disaster. They say there's going to be an investigation, but that never ends up happening. The authorities always forget about us. The fire spread really quickly because almost all the houses are made of wood and other flammable materials. And we don't have fire extinguishers here or even a reliable source of water. Some of the people who lost their houses are staying with relatives in other favelas. And the authorities have put up some shelters. But many people are trying to rebuild their homes. They're cleaning up and building in the same spot. The newspapers say there's going to be some aid, maybe even new housing, proper housing. But that's all lies. That's why I filmed, to show what's actually happening in the favela.
Next up, a bus crash in Morocco that killed 42 people. It happened in the mountains southeast of Marrakesh on the notorious Tizi Ntishka road. The bus came off the road at night and plunged down a ravine. While the exact cause still hasn't been determined, our observer Omar Al-Hayani, who's an engineer, says the authorities have known for years about the dangers and should have done something about it.
It's a twisty, windy road up in the mountains, the highest mountain range in Morocco. About 120 kilometers long. There are lots of dangerous curves and blind corners and steep drops. The bus ended up 150 or 200 meters below the road. I'm sure the accident could have been avoided if there were better infrastructure along the road. There's a lot of traffic on it. In winter, there's ice and sometimes heavy snow. People get stuck, hundreds of them at a time, and have to wait to be rescued. The road is a main link for the provinces of the southeast. It's pretty much the only link between them and the rest of Morocco, the important areas like Marrakesh, Casablanca and so on. Since independence, there have been several studies done on the possibility of building a tunnel, but each time nothing happened. There are long tunnels in countries like Italy, France and Switzerland, so it must be technically feasible. All we lack is the funding. Our government manages to find money for flashy projects, like the high-speed train from Casablanca to Tangiers, but they can't find the funds to build a proper link to a major part of the country. A region that contributes to the national economy, but gets nothing in return.
Now for our weekly roundup of the best images and stories sent in by our observers. First up, Sidi Bouzid, the city that launched the Tunisian revolution. The country is now run by a democratically elected government of moderate Islamists. But extreme Islamists, known as Salafists, are flexing their muscles around the country. In this case, smashing bottles as part of an anti-alcohol campaign. It happened in the hotel run by our observer Jamil Horshani. He says the authorities did nothing to protect him, and he's thinking of hiring a private security force, like in Iraq. Now, a back-to-school story from northern Mali in West Africa, which has been taken over by radical armed Islamists. They've been destroying historic sites, amputating limbs, and terrorizing the population. Our observer Amadou says it's critical to keep the school system going. Children need to catch up on their studies, but also the schools are the only vestige of central government in the north. They've made one concession to the Islamists. Girls and boys are now separated in the classroom. That's all for this week. As always, you can find more reports from our observers on our website, on our Facebook and Twitter pages, and on our iPhone app. See you next time.